0150156, Parish President's remarks. Mr. St. Pierre.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The St. Charles Parish government is having an auction of surplus equipment, heavy equipment, office furniture, and other miscellaneous items to be held at 10 a.m. on May 16th at Wynwood Shopping Center, located on 1313 Palmetto Road, Suite B. Prospective participants may inspect the items at Wynwood from 9 a.m. until 4 p.m. on May the 15th, and the day of the auction beginning at 8 a.m. All items are to be sold as is, where is. Items will not have any warranty, and there will be no refunds. Those buying items, auction items, must present cash, cashier's check, or bank letter of credit. A professional auctioneer will handle both auctions. The buyer must remove purchased items from their site on May 16th. For more information, contact the procurement office at 985-783-5000. The EOC, the Emergency Management Accreditation Program, recently recognized emergency and disaster preparedness and response capabilities in St. Charles Parish, naming the parish as one of the 9 newly accredited emergency management programs nationwide. St. Charles Parish is one of 2 parishes in the state to receive this accreditation. To achieve accreditation, program must document compliance with a set of industry standards, undergo a peer review assessment by the EMAP trained assessors. Accreditation is valid for 5 years, after which St. Charles Parish will be reassessed to maintain a credibility status. The EMAP process evaluation emergency management program on compliance with requirements in 16 areas, including planning, resource management, training, exercise, evaluation, corrective actions, and communication and warranty. Community service. The St. Charles Parish Department of Community Service will offer free lunches this summer at several school locations for children between June 1st and July 9th. Lunch will be served Monday through Thursday each week from 11:30 a.m. until 1:30 p.m. at the St. Rose Elementary School, Luling Elementary School, E.J. Landry Alternate School. To qualify, children must be under the age of 18 or disabled and attending a state accreditation school. No fees or registration is required. Bus pickup will be available. For more information, call St. Charles Parish Department of Community Service, 985-764-7944. Hurricane season. St. Charles Parish is getting ready for hurricane season in 140 characters or less. Each day up until the beginning of hurricane season on June 1st, the parish will share 1 hurricane preparedness tip or storm fact to its social media account. You can follow the hashtag number SCP Prepared to learn more. Public information survey. Help us improve communications by participating in a short survey about the parish public information bulletin. A link may be found on the front page of the parish website at www.stcharlesparish-la-gov. With the passage of the property tax millage Saturday night to support our infrastructure, residents can look forward to the many years of exciting progress resulting in an even better quality of life. Construction projects and maintenance will continue across the parish as we set out to reach our goal of a complete hurricane protection system within the next 10 to 15 years. Not only will this provide flood protection for our residents, it will also provide protection for astronomical flood insurance rates. And construction will begin in earnest to improve our wastewater system in communities on both the East and West Bank. I am humbled that the parish residents trust in their government to undertake these monumental tasks, and we, as members of the administration and the parish staff, are excited to continue. I got to thank our millage team, Buddy, Sam, Holly, Bobby, Renee, Tristan, Nicole Bro, and especially Steve Wilson with PLD and Randy Bro with LLD. We did over 30 different town hall meetings, met with different residents. It was a very grueling task, but in the end, it all worked out. A lot of hard work, and a lot of long hours. And especially, I'd like to thank the people of St. Charles Parish. Of the 22,000 voters, we had 5,033 people went out to vote. That's not very good, but it is the 3rd highest in the state in turnout, the 3rd highest in the state. Some parishes had as high as 5 and 6% turnout. So I'd like to thank those 5,033 people that really care about which direction their parish go. I want to thank the council, the parish council, for probably making the toughest decision y'all had to make in the 4 years y'all been certain up here. That's allowing this to go to the vote of the people. I commend y'all on that, especially during election year. I also like to just piggyback on what Holly said over the last two weeks. We had all that heavy rain. There's a lot of debris still out there on the streets. We are backlogged right now. We are not only backlogged and picking up debris, but it also causes us to cut back on the grass cutting. So we ask our residents to kind of be patient. We will get caught up as soon as we can. With that, since we had some questions that Holly brought up about the electricity, we have Mr. Kent Green from Entergy here today, and I'd like him to make a few comments. Kent?
My name is Kent Green. I'm a customer service rep for Entergy. I handle the St. Charles Parish area. And I've got some information I'd like to share with you in regards to the outages that happened this past week. As most of us know, Monday, April the 27th, we had a pretty severe thunderstorm blow through Entergy's system. It was strong enough to where it caused some pretty widespread damage throughout the system. I know that we mentioned something about the tornadoes that happened in Donaldsonville and Napoleonville, and I believe there was also some tornadoes that were accredited to actually here in St. Charles Parish as well. At a total, our peak outage for the system was 178,000 customers. St. Charles Parish peak was 8,000 customers on Monday after the storm rolled through, after we were able to get an idea of the scouting and the total customer count. Out of that 8,000 customers that we lost during the storm, roughly 75 to 80% were restored by the end of the day, 6 o'clock, 9 o'clock on Tuesday. That left us with a balance of customers around 2,000 customer count, and most of those were primarily in the Bayou Gauche and the Des Allemands area where we took the most amount of damage. Monday's scouting report, when we found out how much damage system-wide, we reached out to ask for help for some of our out-of-town utilities that come in and help us, and likewise we go out and help them. Those out-of-town crews left Tuesday morning at 6 a.m. The Bayou Gauche area had a tremendous amount of damage at the Grand Bayou, Bayou Gauche corner. We found pretty quickly that because of that damage and because of the crews coming in to lend assistance, that their manpower and their equipment that they were bringing was probably going to be the best way for us to tackle that area and get it repaired as quickly as possible. So we started preparing the work for the out-of-town crews. We started staging poles that they were going to need in order to erect the wire, spools of wire, things of that nature there. When the crews came in, we gave them their packets and went ahead and started working on the Des Allemands area. The Des Allemands area came up on Wednesday at 5:30. Everyone that could take power was able to, everyone that could take power and was able to take power had power. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean everybody was connected. It just means we had some additional work to be done after everything was energized. That was about 1,700 customers out of the 2,000. So the balance of that was typically most of the Des Allemands area. I know that Councilman Wilson and I had a little area there in the Hahnville area in which we had to address, but primarily the balance of those customers were down in the Des Allemands area, which was another area that was quite devastated by the winds. I think there was something like 9 poles in the Cypress Lane area, with 20 poles down there being completely broken. On Thursday, around 5:30, the North Des Allemands area was energized, and all of Des Allemands was energized by 6 o'clock on Friday afternoon. So that kind of gives you a pretty good idea of the number of customers we had and where our problem areas were. By far, the Des Allemands area and the Bayou Gauche area were the most devastated as far as damage to our facilities.
Thank you, Mr. Green. Any questions for Mr. Green? Mr. Lewis?
My questions are kind of general. Well, statements are general, but thank you for everything you've done. I know we'd all probably received a number of phone calls, so we do appreciate the diligence.
Well, thank you for the kind words. Thank you.
Mr. Hogan?
Yeah, I want to thank you also, Kent. You did a great job keeping me informed of where the process, where we stood during the repair process. You know, I got a lot of calls from my constituents, and as you say, they were hard hit back there and received a lot of calls, and you kept me up to date. I informed them of the process. It took a little while, but I appreciate all of the hard work and effort you did in keeping me up to date and informed.
I'd be amiss if I didn't necessarily push a lot of this praise to our guys that are actually work the bucket truck. That's where the real praise goes. And so I will make sure that these kind words are shared back with them. It's a very grueling situation, but there's not anybody that wants all of our customers back and restored more than the people that are working at Entergy. I promise you that.
Ms. Perrier?
Thank you. Appreciate you coming tonight, Kent. I know you're probably still a little groggy. That was a long period of time to be on the hook. But as much as you may cringe when your phone rings and it's a council member when your caller ID lights up, we appreciate the communication. As sophisticated as Entergy is, I know sometimes an extra set of ears and an extra set of eyes can help. You know, we get residents and businesses that call us, and you're always, you respond very quickly. We had a couple of strange instances where one person was out and surrounding was not. So those little niche items, you've responded to very quickly. So if there's anything that you think the residents can do to help better communication, what could that be?
Well, I know that the first thing that it's just human nature to have an issue and want to reach out to maybe one of the councilmen or women.
Yeah.
But the one thing that really expedites our situation is if that customer can contact 1-800-ENERGY and place a call, because that puts it in our system.
Okay.
If they call you to talk about it and then you call me, I'm going to wind up putting it on the system.
Okay.
So we've lost a little bit of time by them not actually calling in the 1-800 number. And I kind of work it this way as saying, whether it's you guys or whether it's a commercial customer that's needing my help, I ask them to go ahead and place that call to 1-800-ENERGY and then contact me, and I will keep them abreast with where we are in the ETA, how much damage it is, and the estimation of time of restoration. But without that 1-800-ENERGY number, it doesn't even put it in the map as far as in our system.
And that could be the reason for some of the phone calls we get. You don't know that they're out necessarily.
That's exactly right.
There you go.
That's
Everybody
exactly
call
right.
1-800-ENERGY if you're out of power. There we go.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Ms.
Ken.
Perrier. I see Mr. Lewis, you up for this again?
Yeah. Well, no, for
Ms. St. Pierre?
Yeah.
All right, Mr. Wilson for this?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just had a question. You said with the percentages and disarmers, everybody who could take it received it. And oftentimes I know I get calls where the guys that did the work in Hornville, they did some housekeeping, got some limbs that could cause problems in the future. And folks that have these trees that go to the line that feeds the house, when it snaps that part off of the house, I guess that's up to the resident, their insurance company, and if they don't have the financial means to get that corrected, then they could still be without power.
Yes, sir. It's typically on the onus of the customer if you have a customer-owned facility that's damaged. Obviously, if you have a situation that looks a little different or might need some special attention, I would love to help you be able to if you could introduce me into the situation, maybe there's some programs that I could, offer or suggest. And I guess my way of answering that is if you have the sort of special problems like that, plug me in and let me see if there's anything I can do.
Okay, I appreciate it, because the time we spend in Hornville when you educated me on the laterals and the main feeds, and
yes, sir.
I know we do a good job. You all contract with someone to get rid of everything above that could affect the whole street, but there's a lot of limbs that are over lines that could affect maybe 2 homes. Sometimes it's more than just one.
Yes, sir. And we have preventative maintenance schedules in which we go out and we trim trees and try to clear all the vegetation issues that could come about. But legally, we only have the capability of cutting a certain portion that's our right-of-way. So if we have a canopy that hangs over a feeder or holds over a lateral, we can trim in between there, but we really can't trim sky to ground unless the customer who the tree belongs to gives us permission. And there's a lot of people really like their trees a lot, and so we try to be very, very sensitive about that sort of thing. But, you know, when we have something like this system that rolled through on Monday, or even a hurricane, that's when it really starts to, you know, change the complexion of restoration. But I guess, in other words, there's a lot more customers that don't mind their tree trimming issues after an event like we just had, rather than when we haven't had an event lately where tree trimming has been an issue.
Okay, I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Ms. Schexnayder?
I just have one question. You mentioned y'all have a maintenance program on the trees and everything. Do y'all have a maintenance program on checking the poles out
Yes,
around
ma'am.
the parish?
We sure do. We sure do.
Roughly, how do y'all do that?
There's a certain percentage of poles that we will have inspected, and it's a third-party contractor that literally goes out to all of our feeders and kind of does a little test on whether it's infested with termites. If it is, it creates a ticket. We engineer the job, try to schedule the outage that the customers that would be affected, and try to do it in their, you know, in that area where it least affects their business.
It's one. Do you know about how often? Every few years?
You know, I might have to get back with you with the exact particulars, but I know that our tree trimming is in three-year cycles. Mr. Nextner, I'd probably have to get back with
That's
you.
okay.
I'm absolutely
Well,
not
it
positive
was just
on that
general
one.
because I see a lot of the poles that look really leaning bad or really look like they are getting ready to snap. And I just didn't know if y'all had any type of routine maintenance that y'all did. I know they don't last forever, but every now and
That's
then.
right, yeah.
I guess it's just best when we see it to call it in. And, y'all will come out
And that's
check
what I
it.
was going to offer. If you have anything in your district and you think it needs attending, please plug me in and let me see if I can go to town, and I'll bring it back to you guys. A lot of times, you know, we have a lot of subsidence problems where lots of rain, the ground gets soggy, and it will actually lean over a little bit, and it's just a matter of us pushing it back in and kind of making sure that the foundation gets attended to. But please plug me in on that.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Schexnayder. Mr. Hogan?
Yeah, Ken, like you say, your employees did a great job, especially, you know, over there by Grand Bayou, that whole
Yes, sir.
community was cut off when the lines fell across the road. They did a great job at the end of that storm when we still had some more bad weather coming. They did an excellent job, at least getting the people back to their houses. They weren't worried about, they were worried about not having electricity, but they were more worried about not being able to get to their homes.
To get to their homes, right,
Sure.
having the access.
And then the other issue, there was automated calls that were going out and information online that says power was going to be restored like days and days out. Were you able to find out anything regarding how that happened?
That's an opportunity for us to get a little bit better. It seems like there may have been some announcements on some areas that were very close to being energized, automated announcements that told them that they would maybe be out for a whole nother day. And we're in the process of trying to find what drove that message and see if we could clean that up. But that's just one of those issues where you can't help but to go through something like this and bring one or two areas that you can improve upon, and that by far is definitely one of them.
Thank you. When you find out,
I sure
let
will.
us know.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Ms. Fletcher?
Yes, I can. Just want to thank you. For those that don't know, we had an incident in Muntz last night where a critter got into the substation and blew out the power for a couple thousand people. And the minute I found out was probably 30 minutes after it had happened when Facebook blew up, because that's how people communicate now. But as soon as I found out, I texted you, and you were right on the case, and within 30 minutes later, power was restored. And I do want to thank you for the quick response.
Sure, absolutely.
I'm sorry? It was a snake.
Yeah, it was a snake.
Thank you, Ms. Fletcher. Mr. Woodruff?
Thank you, sir. I got somebody, probably have to get with you on later on. I got a termite-eating pole in my district that Energy says they're not going to change it because it's an AT&T pole. AT&T said they're not changing it because it's got 3 transformers on it. Who's going to fix it?
Yeah, absolutely. I would love to help you with that. And just FYI, there are some pole routes that actually South Central Bell, they're the owner of the pole, and then there's some that are Entergy-owned poles. So you find that quite a bit where the South Central pole it'll be a South Central pole route. Yeah. But I mean, we have a pretty good working relationship together. So if you wouldn't mind giving me a buzz or letting me call you, I'd be happy to see if I could help you work that out.
I've had made a couple calls, and I still haven't got the pole changed.
Yeah, let's you and I talk about that one.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you.
All right, thanks everyone for the kind words.
All right, Mr. St. Pierre, have anything else?
Yeah, just for those who didn't know that the levy millage passed 3,889 to 1,344. That's 74% for, 26% against. The wastewater millage was 3,644. For, against was 1,584. That's 70% for and 30% against. Very proud of that fact, and I'd like to turn it over to Buddy Bull for a few analysis of the millage election.
Thank you, Mr. President. Council, I just have a few comments to make over the past couple of years and ultimately months of how we ended up on Saturday. For the past 7 years, this administration and you guys have budgeted money and made very tough decisions to get what was an idea permitted, designed, mitigated, and started construction on, and then ultimately last fall, after receiving final word from the Corps of Engineers that they refused to start a new study on the West Bank, this administration, per the charter, advised you all of our recommended solution of continuing to move forward on the levy plan, and also notified you of the condition of wastewater, that it had become systemic, and that without another alternative revenue source, the wastewater department would be in a financial condition that was not sustainable. And so in December, we started meeting internally with you guys and our staff, and then ultimately 64 days ago, or 62 days ago, you all approved, after a long discussion here at this meeting, to send it to the voters for their consideration of two propositions. Over the last 60 days, we have held over 27 meetings with residents, as few as 2 to as many as over 100, and every number in between. I told our staff we would go to every group that would have us in an effort to inform and educate the voters of our plans and these propositions. That was our commitment to you. In total, we spoke to about 1,000 people, and we had 5,200 votes. So out of we spoke to 1 out of every 5 people that voted on Saturday, and I think those numbers that Parish President St. Pierre just stated were a reflection that once informed, the voters understood the request and they thought it was practical and affordable. Over those 2 months, we received the endorsement of the River Region Chamber of Commerce, the St. Charles Economic Development Committee, District Attorney, former Councilman, former State Senator Joel Chasson. We also received general support of our entire levy plan from both the Pontchartrain Levy District and the Lafourche Basin Levy District. And we also received the endorsement of the Libertarians of St. Charles Parish, which was a last-minute endorsement that we received and we're very proud of. As far as outreach, we did everything from the mailbox to the homes where people have homeowners associations, the radios, the television, website, social media, hand-to-hand, church parking lots, Winn-Dixie parking lots, you name it. And I think it proved itself to be a plan that we asked you guys to trust us with, and the burden was on us to inform, and we feel we lived up to that commitment. But I would be remiss if we didn't thank, again, the millage team, as it became known on the internal circle, and that was Sam, Director of Public Works, who was there at every one of our town halls and meetings, Holly Fonseca, our grants officer, who provided us with many numbers and attended most of our town hall meetings to support and defend our leveraging plan moving forward, Grant Dusum, our finance officer, Bobby Donaldson, our chief operating officer, our public information team of Renee Simpson and Tristan Babin. Most governments hire a consultant to do what we did internally, and we developed every piece of material that went out there, and our public information office did most of that. The council staff and secretary, thank you all, especially Nicole Bro, who had to become my assistant, unfortunately, for the past 2 months and help with coordinating a lot of what occurred. Our government building staff did a tremendous job, and the entire levy team, which involves a bunch of staff members from several departments. L.J. Brady, our wastewater director, provided a lot of information, and we felt the presence of our 2 levy district heads spoke volumes at our meetings, and I'd like to personally thank Steve Wilson and Randy Troskler for being present at multiple meetings and helping us defend and inform the public of what we were doing. But guys, thank you guys. We asked you to pass a very tough vote, and we had a healthy discussion, and ultimately it was unanimously sent to the people, and you know we felt strongly that a unanimous support from the council would send a strong message. This is what you are elected to do. It's the tough decisions, and you made it. And I think together we all crossed the finish line very solidly on both propositions, on both sides of the river, overwhelmingly passed both millages. And I think that's a testament to the fact that it was presented well and a sound plan. Thank you. Appreciate it.